Greetings, it's Iain from RTO here. Welcome to Tuesday on the channel, and we're going to kick off today with a viewer's request. It's a very short one because they only made 2 albums, but they went on to become another band, and the band we're talking about are Joy Division. They were formed in Salford, which is like a suburb of Manchester, in 1976, and the group consisted of vocalist, guitarist and lyricist Ian Curtis, guitarist and keyboardist Bernard Sumner, bassist Peter Hook and drummer Stephen Morris. Childhood friends, but Bernard Sumner and Peter Hook separately attended a Sex Pistols gig. They sort of got together, and the rest is history. But sadly, Ian Curtis was a troubled man, and he'd had a few experienced some seizures on stage, and he took his own life on the eve of what would have been the band's first North American tour in May 1980, and sadly he was only 23, and they released their final album 2 months later. So as I said, there's only 2 albums, but very good albums and very important albums, to be quite honest. There's not much between them, to be quite honest. They're very similar, so it was hard to rank these because they're so close. Talking of, number 2 is Closer, which was released in June 1980, and it was their last album, and the remaining members, of course, went on and reformed as New Order, which we'll be looking at another day. So this has got Ian, of course, Bernard, Peter and Stephen. First track on this one is called Atrocity Exhibition. What I like about this track, it's got a great bass line from Mr. Hook. I do like his bass playing. It's quite a unique sound, and it always adds to tracks. They've got some great drumming here from Stephen on that. Pretty good track as well. Isolation comes now. Pretty good track. When you listen to this now, you can think, okay, this is what was going to come anyway, but it sort of transformed what was on them first New Order albums. It's got that very sort of New Order-ish feel about it in the playing. It's a very good track. Passover. Now, unfortunately, I've never been keen about this one. I don't know why. It's okay, but it's one that I go, oh, it's this one. Can't wait for the next one. And the next one is called Colony. It's got some great Bernard guitar work on this. Peter's riffs and bass riffs are pretty good on this. It's a good track. My favourite track on the album, it happens to be one of my favourite Joy Division tracks, A Means to No End. It's got that another great quirky bass line from Peter. We've got Ian's wonderful vocals. It's a strong track. Then we've got Heart and Soul, an interesting vocal from Ian. It's got an eerie sort of feel to it. It's got this great tempo beat from Stephen, and Bernard's little guitar is pretty good as well. Then we have 24 Hours, one of my favourite tracks on this album. Love Steve's drumming again. Great Bernard guitar, super little song. The Eternal. Now this is one of those little sort of melodic tracks on here. Ian's vocals are great on this. It's a really good track. Then we have Decades. Lot of atmosphere on this. The keyboards sound great, and you'd get more of this keyboard sound when New Order formed. Once again, Peter Hook's great bass line. Good track to end the album. It's a very good album. Very strong tracks. Not as powerful as the debut, but it's still a very significant album, and I enjoy this album immensely. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So that only leaves my number one, which is the debut album, Unknown Pleasures, which was released June 1979. Can't believe it's that old. As usual, it's so Bernard, Peter, Stephen and Iain. Opens up with the brilliant Disorder. It's just one of them songs I really like from this band. The Peter, excuse the pun, but Peter Hook's bass line hooks you in straight away. I love the crisp guitar on this. Wonderful track. One of my favourite tracks, again, is Days of the Lords. Firstly, we have a great bass line from Peter. You've got Ian's unique vocal. It's really good. One of my favourite tracks by the band. Candy Night. I think this is a bit monotonous. I really... And there's people out there probably pulling their hair out. I just didn't get on with that track. I never do. It's just one of them things. In Song, a very pioneering track, I think this is. The effects on the drums and that bass line. You know, there's little bits that you would get eventually in New Order, and very, very good track. A New Dawn Fades, another strong track. It was sort of that sort of sound that was going to be associated with this area, like the Smiths. It's a certain sound from Manchester, so the Smiths would have sort of taken this sort of sound as well. I think this is a very important track in the history of music, because it sort of started the Manchester sound, as I think personally. Then we have She's Lost Control, a very good track. Again, it influenced other bands, some of that early Human League and Ultravox, that sound, the little keyboard bits and the bass, really good. Shadow Play, a great bass line from Peter. There's some drums and cymbals on here from Stephen, are great. Throw in a great little Bernard guitar track, and you've got a solid track. Wilderness, some interplay here between Peter and sorry, got something in my eye. Whoa, sorry about that. Shall we start again? Yeah, we'll start again. Wilderness, it's got a lovely interplay here between Peter and Bernard. Really good track. Then we have Interzone, quite punk for me, very in your face sort of song. Great vocal from Iain, absolutely brilliant. And the last track on here is called I Remember Nothing, a great atmospheric track. Got some lovely bass and keyboards on this, so eerie, and probably one of Ian Curtis's best ever vocals. Absolutely great track to end the album. In my opinion, this is only my opinion, I think this is one of the most important albums coming out of that post-punk era. There's a lot of bands that sort of got an influence on this album. The Smiths, Stone Roses. If it weren't for this band, I don't think we'd have had them bands and the Manchester sound. There's some unusual techniques and sounds on this, especially from Peter Hook. And they took this on after they split up as Joy Division and formed New Order. So it is a very important album. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. So there we go. Two great albums that influenced a lot of other bands in the process. I really do like the Joy Division. There's something different. So that's that. So we'll do New Order very shortly. I'm going to cut them. I think it's going to be sometime during the summer where we'll do a full ranking of the New Order. So Jimmy Barnes will be happy. Be interesting how his, because he's a huge fan and I'm sort of a part-time fan, so it'll be interesting to see how much different we are between us. Okay, coming up next is retro ranking, and it is a status quo one. There's a very good reason why it's a status quo one, and I'll tell you all about that later. Bye for now.